And we are live. What's happening, family man? Welcome to the lifestyle, man. Appreciate you guys for being here. And here's the deal. I know we were scheduled for 8 o'clock, but I want to come on here and say something before we got started. So, everybody that was here yesterday, you came here and we were looking to see Adam yesterday. I'm gonna tell you what happened. So I owe apology to you guys and my man Adam. My son's prom was yesterday. So what ended up happening was their things got switched. So this morning when I got up, my phone is buzzing off TJ's prom, and I was like, dang, I got it mixed up. So that was my fault yesterday. It wasn't on Adam. What's going on, Nightwing? Welcome in, welcome in. Yo, I got Sydney Khan reviews, aka Mr. Enabler DK is in the building. So anyway, you guys came here to see a watch creator, right? Somebody that has a passion for watches. He's an enthusiast just like us. We just happen to have a couple of watches, man. So I have somebody in the back that I'm going to introduce you guys to. We're going to get him up here in just a second, man. I got my man DK is running the boards. He is going to be helping me with questions and stuff like that. So if you guys have questions, please feel free. DK is going to take you home on that one. So, without further ado, let's introduce our guest.
106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses.
Yo, Adam, what's happening, brother?
I'll tell you, that intro was good. I like that. That was
Man, bro,
Who
look,
makes,
let me tell you
who
something.
makes these beats? Those are some good beats. Wherever you're pulling those from, those are awesome.
Bro, they come off this app I got, man. I paid for this app, bro, and they got some stuff in there. So I wanted to capture what I've learned about you thus far, knowing that you are a Chicago guy and you into hip hop. So I was like, I had to do some stuff, man. And then you're an adventurous guy. Dude, what is it that you don't do?
Oh man, yeah, I stretch
Man,
myself a little thin sometimes. That's how it goes,
sheesh.
right?
Man, well, I want to welcome you on, man. I appreciate you coming on here. This is actually, man, this is pretty dope because my man Dave D actually sent me your information when you were out there in Washington. Was it about a month or two ago?
Yeah. The District Time Watch Show. That was awesome. It was awesome.
Yeah, yeah. He actually sat there. He took a picture of the watches and was like, "Yo, Trap, I know you love Loom. This is a watch." And I'm looking at it, the Wayfinder. I said, "Dude, I just saw this on YouTube, bro." I was like, "What are the odds?" And he was like, "This guy's actually here. He talked to you, man, and said you was pretty cool dude. I just appreciate you being so responsive, bro. Like it was like really quick, man. That's crazy,
Yeah, I tell people that's kind of like the Instagram. I'll be honest, man. It is a pain. It is a pain at times, but
mm,
I find that being responsive on that, being accessible, like to our customers, to people like yourself who are interested in us, that's a
hmm
huge deal for me. I'm from the watch community, right? That's
right,
how I was in the watch community well before I was making watches. So just talking to
right,
other people who like watches gets me hyped in general. I'm happy to do it all day long. So I love the
dude,
avenue of being able to like, and it's nice. You can meet people at shows. You can connect with them on like this type of stuff. You can talk
right.
with them on Instagram. I'm open. I'm like, dude, hit me with an email. Here's my, and you'll see my emails. Like, I sign my with my cell phone number at the bottom. So I get a lot of
Right.
spam calls, but I'm open. I'm available for people to give me a call.
Man, that is so crazy, man. So, I'll tell you what. I actually sent a couple of links. So, guys that you're watching, again, I have somebody, a moderator that's like literally drop your questions in there, and we'll get to them. He'll make sure that I see them. But you've been interviewed, you've been showcased dude, you've been all over the place, and there's actually three of you that make up this name. Correct? Am I correct? I know I'm
Yeah,
correct.
no, that's you're absolutely right. That's generating a brand name is a super challenge. We spent so much time on it, and in the end, we just took parts of each of our names. So my middle name is Farrand, so that's where
Mm,
the Farr, sometimes called Farr and Swit, but the tricky pronunciation if you're in the in club is fair. And
mm.
is from Andrew Patel, so and from Andy. And then Zach Switalski is the other partner. And I always joke, I was like, we're not putting Switalski on a watch, but Swit, that looks nice.
Man, I have to say that the logo looks amazing. The Wayfinder, and I will say this. I grew up on the south side of Chicago, so you already know as far as baseball teams where that goes. We split down the middle on this one, bro. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Like White Sox, Cubs. But I have something that I actually have a Cubs hat, and I didn't run out to
There
get
you
this.
go.
I had this made, bro.
Look at that.
Curse reverse.
I like
20,
that.
2016. I had to get that, man. I'm gonna tell you my history with the Cubs. I went to a game when I was about 9 years old, and I actually got to sit next to Harry Carey and see him take me out to the ball game. Bro, I came back home. I had a ball. I had a sign. Man, I had on Cubs gear, and then I got beat up. Because Cubs does not listen. That is a no go on the South Side. You cannot be a Cubs
Yes.
fan on the South Side unless you're packing a big gun or something, bro. But that is my one claim to fame as far as history is concerned. I got to sing with Harry Carey, and I got to eat one of those famous Cubs hot dogs. And dude, you know, you know.
That's impressive. That's amazing. I mean, like, to be with a legend like that singing his song. I mean,
Bro, Harry Carey was a man. When I tell you what, just a little kid, he was very infectious, man. Really nice guy. I will never forget that, man. And he was like, "Take me out," and he had me just swinging me back and forth. Boy, you couldn't get no better, bro. Like it was amazing.
that's
It was
awesome.
amazing. Thanks, Billy. Y'all. So normally when I get super chats and super stickers, we do. I took my super chat dance down because we're working on a new one. The people wanted a new one, so I'm working on a new one. So I will have another one. So thank you for the super sticker that's coming from Not a Watch Snob. Now let's get into your background. There was one thing that I was interested in. You said you were 18 years old when you fell in love with watches, or you
Yeah.
was like you had. Was it at 18, or had you had a love for watches before that?
No, I mean I had bought some like Field and Stream, believe it or not, a loom dial when I was before that. I had something going with loom dials when I was a kid. But when I was 18, that's when I was like on a cruise. I was in St. Thomas, and if you guys ever been there, the cruise always just drops you off, and there's always like jewelry stores and stuff. And you're gonna hear the story because I put it on my website too. But I walk by that window, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then like you walk by and then you stop and you walk backwards like in a cartoon, you know what I mean?
Right,
And
right.
I saw this loom dial pro diver from Citizen, and it comes in this case that I still have the case in the basement. It looks like a scuba tank. Like they make it look
Right.
so it looks like a scuba tank. And I saw that, and it got my heart pumping, and I had to go in, and I remember going in, and my dad's like, that's like a $350 watch. He's like, he's like, I mean, I worked as a busboy, so, and I have no shame in that. I made good money as a busboy, so I had cash always with me. And my dad's like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
you got some cash available. You can buy that. And I was like, I'm done. I got to get it. And it was like
Mm.
after that, then you kind of other people would recognize it on your wrist. So people were seeing it on my wrist, making comments, and I'd have conversations with people. Kind of progressed after that to get into like it's a Seiko Kinetic, which was really cool at the time, and I still have all these watches. I never sell a watch, believe it or not. Other than my own brand, I never sell a watch.
And you still have the ball watch
I
that you
still have the
talked
ball
about.
watch. Yeah, my
Wow.
personal. Yeah, like I made a commitment. Like I started collecting, and I know this doesn't make sense to most you guys probably on here, but I just said, you know what? There's so much emotion tied to my pieces, like that I have my own personal collection that I can't sell them. I'm not good at buying and trading. I don't do it. Like if I buy a
Right,
watch,
right.
my whole thought was, look, if I need to make room in the case, I'm gonna force myself to gift it to somebody, to gift it to a
Right.
younger person or something. And that, you know what that does? That makes you question when you're buying new watches. So it kind of helps you limit buying new watches sometimes because you're like, oh, I'm gonna buy this. You're like, oh, but then I'm gonna force myself to have to gift one of those away. You know, it's like
Mm.
you get to a one in, one out policy kind of, and it helps keep your pocketbook in check a little bit, which is good.
Man. Listen, I'm gonna tell you something. What I found interesting in the interviews that I found, you were interviewing WGN. I saw a couple of, I seen Barstool, and guys, you can go to the Farr Swit website, and dude, you got a lot of amazing stuff on there. So on the part of the intro and I literally pulled that from some of your Instagram, some of your TikTok stuff.
Yeah, that was. You could have
Um,
asked me for those videos. You were probably having to go to all those sites and rip them down. I could have given them to you.
no,
Stock
you know
them.
what? Oh no, you know what? Because that's the beauty of just how hype you get about watches. I love watches, but I love doing this, and I love people that love their craft. And I thought it was interesting that you're 18 years old, right? And being an 18-year-old, like after watches like that, that's not normal. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember being 18 and I was in love with watches, and they used to call me crazy, like, dude, what's up with you in this watch? Unless you just happen to have a Rolex or an Omega. Just being
Yeah, yeah,
honest. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? So, but other than that, I had some weird kooky watches. I was into Loom, always been into Loom. And let's talk about this Wayfinder. Matter of fact, I believe I have a picture of for everybody that's here. That's like, okay, who is this guy, and what is he doing up here? This
Cruise
right
guys are
here,
watch guys kryptonite. I like that. Not a watch snob. Cruise guys are watch guys kryptonite.
yes, sir. That right there is a Wayfinder, and it has all the descriptions and the bezel and everything that's on there. And I'm gonna ask you this: how long did it take you to create that?
That was an interesting one because we did our seaplane automatic, and it's fairly subtle. You know, it's the kind where it's got the waves halfway through, and then we've got a starry night, which is, again, it's a watch that you kind of take off and hand to somebody to show them the details.
All right.
So I was like, we got to follow this up because the feedback I got was people were liking it, and one of our targets, which is a terrible target business wise, is people who don't like watches.
Mm.
It's not easy, right? So I'm selling to the kid with a cell phone who tells me watches are dead, man. I got a cell phone. Who uses watches anymore? And it's like it's my personal target to convert that guy. And at the price point with the seaplanes, they're like 650. It's tough, right? I mean, they didn't care about automatic. They really just care about how does it look? Is it cool? So we started the Wayfinder with, we were doing like ripples in the water, and I was working with this guy Alex Asfor over at Idea Storm Studios. He does like our travel poster stuff. Awesome artist. We were just throwing stuff back and forth, and I was like, hey, here's some wave like patterns I'm coming up with, and he's like, hey, it looks like kind of like, you know, an ocean topography. I was like, hey, you want to just mock something up and send it to me? So he sends up this navy blue topography map, like, which is basically the finished Wayfinder, and I put it in Photoshop, fooling around with it, and I hit reverse to make it white, and I was like, this is it. This is
Mm.
I'm going loom dial. I'm going full on loom dial. I've been wanting to do a loom dial, and this is it. And then we started exploring like the different colors we could get in there, and I was like, look, I'm gonna put a sweeping quartz in this, keep this affordable, spend a bunch of money on loom, and then I changed the bezel to a steel bezel because you can kind of get some more colors on that, and it cuts the cost that we have with our sapphire crystal bezel. Again, adds weight and adds cost. So I wanted to get a sub 400 watch out there, and it for me, that's one of my favorite watches. I feel like it hit. And what's
Okay.
funny is I was kind of an automatic snob, so I'm like, you know, I want my automatics, right? But
Right.
so when I got the sweeping seconds though, I was like, this is awesome. Like I don't even I feel like I'm wearing my automatic, right? Because it does the 4 ticks for each one.
Yep.
And I put it down. I don't put it on my winder. I come back, boom. It's I don't have to rewind it and reset it. I was like, I'm loving this. So
Wow.
that converted me because we were hesitant to go to courts.
Mm, okay. That is I had a question for you because one of the interviews you were on, you said you got started in 2017 and like I
2018,
think it was
2018.
2018,
Yeah.
right? Like May of 2018, right? Am I
Yeah, it was
right?
kind of close. It was kind of close to the end of the year. And it basically we just established the company and then decided to pull the trigger on ordering the watches.
So I know that during COVID, there were a couple of Kickstarters that tried to get started and failed. Like, so how did that affect you guys, or was that like gold mine for you?
So for me, this was funny. I think Kickstarter is it's a different animal. So like Kickstarter 10 years ago, completely different than it is now. Like I
Okay.
was on it all the time. I was supporting things, and with Kickstarter at that point, we'll say you feel like you're funding somebody's dream, and they tell you 6 months lead time. You're like, cool, and it can come out in 8 to 12 months, and you're like, you know what, cool. I'm helping support some business, but
Hmm.
as it's evolved, and some guys came on, took a bunch of money, and then the companies failed. Nobody got any product, and then we got I don't want to hate on anybody, but you got Hong Kong places just pumping out stuff on Kickstarter every week,
Man,
right?
yeah,
So
right.
I did not want to go that route because I felt like I'd rather just grind, and that's what we did with the seaplane. Is we grind, we get out there, we get it to reviewers, we're going to watch shows. I'm working with Red Bar groups. I'm talking with everybody I know, to get this watch out there. I'm talking with people locally that aren't even into watches. I'm doing pop-up shops. That I feel like goes a long way rather than just doing a Kickstarter. So I can see how a
Okay.
lot of Kickstarters fail. I mean, some of these Kickstarters, right? They put up this awesome, and I'm not trying to be negative about it. They put up an awesome campaign, but their goal is like 50 grand, and you're like, dude, you're asking for a lot from people.
Sheesh, yeah.
You got to put some skin in the game. So I said, I'm gonna self fund this. And when you do that, you are gonna push it yourself because you're in. You got all your skin in the
Man.
game, and it gave me the passion to keep really attacking it. If I'm sitting and I got time, instead of going to check email, like to see, I'm thinking something watches. I got 5 minutes free. I'm doing watches. It's just like
So
I
like
think.
you're really like you're an enthusiast, like this is in your blood. Like, dude, because
Yeah,
I see how you respond to this, but like your background, you say you used to sell T-shirts in school.
yeah. That's no joke. If you look at my Instagram, I think I probably have one from a way back. So I sold these. They were knockoff. They were making fun of Stussy and kind of like a parody of Stussy and No Fear Gear. I don't know if you
Right.
can. I don't know how old you are. I'm 40. I'm 43. So that was like when I was in like just coming out of junior high. Like Stussy, No Fear,
I know.
for all about. So I did these Hodge wares and we make a joke on it, something ridiculous, and like, we're just doing it with marker. And I was selling them, and people were like, "Hey, can you make one for me?" Like, they walk up to me, "Hey, can you make me a shirt?" Yeah, dude, I'll make you a shirt. So I always tell people, like, I feel like I've always been a maker. Like I used to sell friggin' friendship bracelets in grade school. I would
I remember
sell you like
that.
this. I would do like rapping, kind of like Weird Al style, over popular music with my friend, and we'd sell tapes at recess during my
Wow.
grade school. So yeah, no, I like to make things, and that kind of is what got me into this. I said, I know the watch I want. I want to make it, and you just gotta. I just went for it.
Hey, y'all. So I want you guys to do me one favor. Those of you guys that follow TikTok, type in Adam and Swit. I'm sorry, Adam. Farr Swit, and scroll down. He has a freestyle on there, man. That was dope, bro. Like you was killing it, and I was like, yo, this dude was up, man, dude. So your ties to hip hop, right? Who was your favorite? I gotta know who was your favorite coming up, man, when you were a youngster.
So when I was younger, it was more along the lines of like Young MC and Run
Mm.
DMC, and then I kind of migrated into Beastie Boys when I was got a little bit older. Naughty by Nature. I mean, like that whole era. So then the whole Death Row, God, the Chronic. I mean, all that 90s
Oh.
90s hip hop. 90s hip hop
We're
is
not that. Listen, I only got you about 2 years, bro. I only got you about 2 years. So yeah, man, dude, I feel you, and I
so
seen that, man.
yeah, so like that one of those freestyles I used to do. I used to make my own hip hop music, believe it or not. I had this moniker. It was Saint Chuck because I came from St. Charles. It's not bad. I listen to it now. It's okay. It was mainly samples, and I'd loop them and I'd rap over them. I got maybe one or two songs which I'm not embarrassed about. But that freestyle stuff, there's a group in Chicago called Two Hype Crew, and they do like old school covers. So
Hmm.
they'll be like, hey, come to the show around 7 o'clock. We're gonna call you up. So my whole shtick was I'd put like a collared shirt on. I'd be like this guy that didn't look like he could rap, and they'd be like,
Right.
hey, this kid says he's gonna rap, and they pull me on stage, and I'd be like, all right, here it goes, and I just let him have it, and everyone would be like, what just happened? And I'd be like,
Yeah.
I'm out, boom, and I'm gone.
No, that was dope, man. I want you guys to go check that out, man. Just type in Farr Swit on TikTok, man. It's so dope, man. I love your spirit, man. You have like this great spirit, man. A lot of energy, especially when you come to watching. So I have to show this because you made mention to it a few times. The seaplane, that
Oh
right
yeah,
there.
so
Yeah.
that's our special edition. This one was basically I got a hold of some eddas, the edda movements, the 2824
Yes.
dash twos.
Yes.
So I was in the process of like I've been doing the original seaplane a batch at a time. We got 250 that we could make numbered for each one, and I was
Right.
like, hey, I'm gonna make I'm gonna make another batch, and then I was like, my guy was like, hey, I can get you some edda 2824 dash twos if you want them. I was like, yeah, give 'em to me, man. I'll take them, and then I was like, I'm gonna make a special version of this. So that's the one where
Yo.
we put the gradient in there to kind of, and I never came up with a good name for that. I'm still taking names because we got the midnight landing and the day trip of this original seaplane names, and we were going with like something with the fog, something with cloudy. We were gonna call it the nublado because it's está nublado is like Spanish for cloudy. So I
Right.
never came up with a good name with it, and I like to name our pieces, but that one just stuck with special edition because I wanted to get it out there.
So I want to ask you this, man. I looked at everybody that has reviewed one of your watches, man. So I have a few people here. Random Rob, and we'll come back to Random Rob because I had a question to ask you about him. Relative Time, Watch Chris, and we have 135i Pocket Rocket, which is actually in the chat. He actually purchased one. I don't know if he bought the seaplane or not, but I do remember seeing his comment
I
in
think he
one. I
said
think
the
it
Wayfinder. I think he said
was
the
it the
Wayfinder.
Wayfinder?
I think so.
He actually has it, and I tell you what, his if you
Thank you for
follow
the
him on,
support, guys. Honestly, thank you for the support. Sorry to interrupt, but I really
no,
appreciate
you're
anybody who
fine.
buys watches. I really appreciate it.
Look, we got Tommy Big Time in there. He
I
has
see
number
it.
13 with the Etta. Hold, let me put that on the screen. He has number 13, Etta 2824, and the Etta off top. Just the history of it, man. Like that movement has been used in, I'm gonna just say, millions of watches over time. And I think something that's fascinating that you are a watchmaker, and I don't know how far people dig into the history of watches, but during Glycine era in 1914, when Glycine came out, I think there was five watch companies that failed, right? So that they were considered, micro brands before they were saying the word micro brand. They just couldn't get off the ground because there were so many innovative things happening. Rolex was doing their thing. So there's a number of companies that came out the gate. Fast forward to right now, you have one of the most unique watches, hands down. And I'm not saying that I'm because I haven't seen the watch personally, but this is what these reviewers are saying. They like as far as the Wayfinder, they're like has to be one of the most unique. I watched what's the guy Beer and Watches, Matt Johnson,
Yeah, yeah.
which says he said, hey, let Adam know I sent you over there. So that dude, I like watching this show. I've just kind of binge watched a lot of his videos, but when we got to your particular watch, he was excited about it. And I would even go as far as like even with Tommy on one of his
What's up,
shorts,
Tommy? I see him. What's
he
up, Tommy? Big
has
time.
yeah, bro, like he has one. He said like this is one of my favorite watches. You know what I'm saying? Like in that red, dude, that red. was amazing. So how many? Okay, let me ask you this: when you guys are planning, like as far as straps and the bag, who idea was it to give a dry bag with this watch?
Yeah, so that's I don't want to say these other guys don't do anything, but yeah, that was my whole idea. I had the brainchild. The seaplane was a long time in development. The whole idea of a seaplane diver pilot combo, pilot hands, diver, depth, and the loom to glow. And the idea is like I want to put a cool watch box, because I'm sure you guys do this, right? You get the watch box,
Mm-hmm.
put it in the closet or the cabinet with all the other watch boxes, and
Yep.
it just sits there and collects dust. And it's cool. Like you open it up, you're like, hey, that's a cool looking, Shinola is a pretty cool box. Man, I would. But I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do a simple box, and when I'm gonna put them in dry bags. And we had gone through like 3 or 4 different sizes. I'm like, I like this one. I can put it in. People can use it, and that's like our staple. I don't know anybody else who actually sells their watch in a watch box that's a dry bag. Like all of
I
those
don't think
companies.
you know what? I've seen a number of watches. I don't think anybody has, and especially I've watched a lot of YouTube, Adam. I mean, a lot of YouTube. I'm watching so many different channels and stuff like that, and I think you're the only company that offers that, man. And here's a fun fact: did you know that there's about 10.3 million people that kayak per year in America, and they use dry bags?
I did not, but everybody loves it. And here's the other thing: there's a whole bunch of golfers out there. The flip side of keeping your stuff dry is you can keep your beer wet. So you put your beer in a bunch of ice, clip it up. I did this as a giveaway at a charity golf outing. Put all the beverages in there, clip it up, clip it on the back of the golf cart. So it's a dry bag and a wet bag. I just saw you guys had a question. So
Oh yeah, it says, will there be any re-release occurring out of stock models?
So anything that's like limited and hit its number. So one that I know people wanted was that teal blue. It was a Wayfinder Swiss automatic. I only made 50 of them. They went kind of quick. I never went back to revisit it, and I keep getting requests for it. That one I capped. If I release it, I'll do a different shade of color. I may do a GMT version. So something similar, like anything that's gone out, I'll do something similar. So this one that's coming out, the Vice edition, 85 is basic. That's it. So I can't do that same watch again. If I have a limited number and I say it's 85 at 85, it's 85 at 85. I may really release something with a different retro theme.
Right.
But that one, when I have them numbered and they hit the number, I can't re-release them. I don't do version 2s. I'd love to, because I feel like that teal blue Swiss automatic Wayfinder, like it looks awesome, and people keep asking for it. So I'm like, maybe I got to do a version that's got, I don't know, like I said, GMT or something different. I can't make it exactly the same.
Hey, listen, I love that. Are you a gamer? Because I could have sworn I just heard Mario over there.
Yeah. Sorry, that's my that's my.
No. You're fine. You're fine. You're fine.
And my wife's is the you eat the mushroom. It's that noise when my wife calls. So it's like, so I know when that text comes in. Yeah.
Okay.
That's right. My phone goes off and everyone looks at me like, you into Mario? I'm like, yes, I am.
Hey, you know what? Listen, we digging all in your business today, man. We just trying to get to know, because how often do a lot of people buy watches, and there's thousands upon thousands of companies out there. We don't get this opportunity, micro brand or not, because there are considered, and that was a debate we were having. What would consider a watch brand to be micro brand? Because I know watch companies that's been in business for 30 years, like Aragon. And they're still considered a micro brand because I don't think he sells 100,000 watches per year or something like that. So I don't know. What do you feel about that? Where do you faring at that as far as micro brands?
We're small. I mean, we don't do that many a year for sure. I think I do maybe, if you count everything out, like 300 to 500 a year, depending on the year. Like I like to keep it small. This isn't my full-time job. This is like my passion project, which has been evolving and growing and will eventually become my full-time job. But yeah, and I don't have any problem with anybody. I know some people are like, oh, Spinnaker, it's not a micro brand. Like I don't care. I know some people are really strict on their rules, and yeah, anybody. I mean, it's like when Starbucks puts the local branded coffee house up there. It's the Starbucks, right? But they just made it look like it's local. I
Mm-hmm.
can see how that can burn people, make them feel, a little burned a little bit. Yeah, so I don't have that financial backing. Like, I don't have that push to just launch stuff to give away free watches, because I'll have guys who are like the Vice Edition. I can't even count how many people have said, "Hey, collaborate, send me a free watch, and I can help you out." I'm like, I work with this guy Ross Gallen, who does a lot of I just basically give him a loaner set, and he helps, get the loaner set out here, get the loaner set out to Rob, get the loaner set out to Tommy. So it's a lot of help for me to have someone do that. And I don't have the ability, nor do I think I want to just throw out a bunch of free watches as marketing.
Yeah, listen, this is a business you running, bro. This not a charity. And
That's right.
that is a great segue, because I want people to know, because I actually heard now people are critical all the time of products that people put out, you as well, and there are some pros and cons to that. Like pricing was one of the cons that some of the reviewers had. But one thing that people don't know is that you take a portion of the money that comes in and gives back to different charities in Chicago. So how did you get hooked up? The one of them was it was like feeding the people there. I can't remember the name of. I apologize.
Northern Illinois Food Bank. Yeah,
That's it. That's it.
Those are on coronavirus, and I tell people our pillars are basically this: we want to have a great product. We want to have, we want to have better customer service, which even goes above and beyond our product. We want to have charity worked in from day one. So even from day one, when we're going to have a loss for the first 2 years, right? Those first 2 years, I'm still have charity on the books. You have to have this amount going. So I was working with the food bank. The food bank was awesome. Those guys are great. And when I launched my clothing stuff, I basically was like, look, I'm launching the clothing. Anything we make, half of it goes to the food bank, and then if I have half the money left over, then I can make more shirts and then give the rest of the money back to the food bank. So I was just pumping everything I had over to the food bank from that.
Sweet. And that's important, man. I you know what, I'm real big on charity. I actually ran some stuff on my channel on charity, and we had a decent amount of money come through here to help other people out, man. That's huge. That's huge, man. Nothing but respect, especially, because you're saying you're putting out 300 to 400 watches per year. And and that was a question I was going to ask, like, what was your volume? But you all actually put it out, and one of the comments in there was like, "Hey, you put out GMT seaplane, they're in." And I'm pretty sure Tommy about one too, as well.
Let me ask you guys this. I'm glad I got. So here's where I'm at right now with the seaplane. So GMT wise, I've looked at going Swiss. The Swiss is expensive. It's complicated. It's easy to break. Warranties happen all the time. I've got a step to now. Of course, Seiko's introduced this. I think it's an NH. I want to say 36. It's not necessarily a true GMT, but it's a GMT, reasonably priced. You can put it out. I can even do a wayfinder with that one real easily. The one I'm looking at is this Miyota. I want to say 9075. And the thing about this is it's got a jumping hour. So that means if you guys have ever held like an Omega, Planet Ocean, or like a GMT Rolex, or you don't change the date with the pop. When you pop it, it doesn't change the date. What it does is it jumps the hour hand exactly where it is in its position to the next hour. So you can go. So I like that. And my question to everybody is, I find that to be a super cool feature. If that movement costs more, the 9075 costs more, significantly more than the Seiko version, which is way more simpler. Is there value in a higher price model with the jumping hour? Because I personally like it, but just to like the guys out here and anybody you talk to, like, is jumping hour cool? Is it a cool function? I think it's friggin' awesome.
I will be honest with you. I think I actually went to an AD, and they walked me through a couple of watches here, Moya Jewelers, and I saw it. I think it's a cool feature, but it was a more expensive watch. It was a watch that was way out of my price range. But I honestly believe with all the stuff that's going on, Adam, dude, there's a market for it. There's a market for it, and I feel like, honestly, and I could be wrong about this, you've already been established with some of the bigger brands, and I actually did a number count. So some of these people watch Chris relative time. These guys have large amounts of subscribers. Now, these subscribers aren't always available the day one, day two. Sometimes it takes them 2 weeks to get it, but your brand has seen more than 200,000 people at one point in the time that you like.
All
Yo,
right. I
so
didn't think about that. Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, you have to consider that. You know what I'm saying? So Tommy Big Time, I started a few months after him, and his channel has jumped up more people because he's looking more at micro brands and just owning a bunch of brands. And yours come across him, and now his people are looking at it. Beers and Watches are looking at it. Watch Chris, Relative Time, and then there's actually there was 4 other channels. There were smaller channels, but there was big feedback. And one thing I do like about you, bro, you respond to everybody. You respond to every. I see everybody that has said something about your watches and stuff like that. And on one part, I played. I hate to say devil's advocate, but uh, I know people say, "Hey, well, you supposed to because we're buying your brand." But at the same time, I'm like, you're in a pool with 1,000 other watchmakers, right? Which we'll talk about what's coming up next week. But I'd still take that, and say, hey, I love what you're doing. I appreciate you even reaching back out to these people. And that was another thing that made me feel good about having you on today because I don't know you from a can of paint, but based on what I've seen, honestly, based on what I've seen and experienced, and like I've researched you for like since we talked, I just looked at all as much stuff as I could on you. Know that you're in the cars, big time,
Yeah. Yeah.
big time. And I'm gonna ask you that question here in a second, but going back, and I don't want to deviate from your. I think if it's cost effective, put it out. I mean, why would you stop now? I mean, you took the biggest leap. You and your team took the biggest leap for going out there. So
Yeah.
I
Well,
wouldn't
and
say I would me personally. I would say jump in, bro.
yeah. So that's this year's pretty much planned. We're gonna have. I gotta get more of the Cubs watches. I gotta get more of the Wayfinders because I'm down to like 5 or 6 of those. I'm gonna hold those probably for the show next week. And then
Tommy
I've
said
got.
yes, please.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So yeah, I think the Miota, like when I heard about that movement, I was like, oh man, this is good. I love this. It's just the idea of like because when you buy those movements, they're more expensive. You do a bigger run. They're kind of difficult, so you make special cases to fit them. There's so many like things that come into making a watch that something like that ends up being a big cost because it's new, different case, the
Right.
movement. And it's ones where you launch it and you're like, I don't want to launch it, and then sell like 50 of them and have people be like, oh, it's not that cool, and I got to inventory that. I'm like, all right, now I'm sitting on this. But yeah, to your point about talking, being interactive with people, I think people buy from people, and I
Mm-hmm.
think I want to make sure people like. I tell it if people meet me, usually they have a different take on my brand. Like it's one thing to see me, oh yeah, I was reading Watch You Seek and I saw your brand out there, but it's another thing to have a conversation with me, face to face, or be on one of these. And I love watches. I'm passionate about them. I got a lot of energy, as you were saying.
You got a lot of energy. A
Yeah, I
lot.
want to. Yeah,
Love it.
so I think we all buy from people, and I want to make people comfortable. That like, look, you buy from us, we got you covered. You know what I mean? Like I know I put like a 2-year warranty on it, but if something happens 5 years down the road, and you're not happy, let's figure something out. You get the watch, you don't like it, no problem, no problem at all. Send it back. I'll pay to get it back or whatever. We'll figure it out. Get you your money back, and I'll move on to something else. And I want everybody happy. And I mean, I've gotten guys who gave me 5-star reviews who bought the watch, returned it, and then went to my Google and gave me a 5-star review. I'm like, that's good. That's what I want. Even if they don't like the stuff, like I said, my customer support has to be above.
I'm curious about this piece right here.
Oh, look
Who
at that
idea
back.
was that one?
This was Andy and myself. We were working on this one, so I was excited initially about this movement because it's solar powered, but I spent a lot of time digging through specs, and I wanted the sweeping seconds. So the chronograph has a sweeping seconds, kind of like a
Right.
VK movement. I
Right.
couldn't find anything solar powered that did that, and I didn't want to just do the VK movement because I feel like everybody kind of does that. I got to have something different, and I wanted to do solar power, and then I ended up finding that movement, And then I was like, oh, I work with these guys, Chicago Auto Club West. Dean's, he's like the president over there. He's awesome. So I had talked to him about, hey, you and I have talked about making a watch. I have this idea. I'm going to put like a tire tread on the side. I was like, and after it took a long time to design. That one was a long design. The colorway and everything took that one we had to really push. And I think it turned out awesome. The finished product is awesome. It's just, that was one of the ones that was creative process wise. We were struggling to try and make ourselves feel like it was unique to fit our brand and looked good. And this found, like when we got this, it was like, oh, thank God, this clicks, this works. I love it.
That is, that was when I was looking through your catalog. I said, ooh, because I love cars, man. I love cars, man. So the car club, and you're so close that I'll be able to actually go. Like when you guys do that, I'm probably like 3 hours away from you.
Oh, so, and I want to tell you that you're in Indianapolis? Or you in Southside Chicago? Okay, Indianapolis. I have a show coming up in Kokomo, Indiana later in the summer. It's like July or something. So
June 17th.
Did I already? Is it up there? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Look, bro. Look, when I tell you, I dug in. I dug in. I was like, yo, and I see that you're into craft beers and micro beers and stuff like that.
But on to the cars. Let's talk cars. Let me hear your car question. I don't want to jump over your car question.
Okay, cars. All right, so I see you guys got a lot of Porsches. I love Porsches. My favorite is 911 GT all black carbon fiber. I love that. Is my favorite variation of Porsche. But my favorite car in the world, period. I think if I can get one, it'll be a 71 or 72 Chevrolet Chevelle 454.
Yeah.
Hands down, bro. Hands down. That to me and anybody else, you can love whatever you want. I think that's the perfect car.
I'm kind of a Fast and Furious guy, so I keep toying with. I'd love to go get an R9 or R34 Skyline, Japan model. Or I love the old NSXs, the 90s era NSXs. I wish those weren't so expensive. I'd love to just get one of those.
Have you driven one yet? You've driven one, right?
No, I rode in one, but that was it.
I rode in one. And listen, a buddy of mine in Chicago had one, and we used to go on this place called Doty Road, right off the highway, close to the Bishop Ford. And they used to race a quarter mile, and I got in one, and he took me in a quarter mile, and I said, "Oh my gosh." it feels so like I love speed. I love cars, man. And I saw that you had the Bugatti, and I remember I was downtown.
That's not mine, just so you know.
Oh, I was like, man, my man riding Bugattis and everything. Got a nice watch company. He doing good.
Yeah. That's actually, if you guys are on Instagram, the Hamilton Collection. I forgot the guy's name, but he brings those to the shows. I mean, the one show that's in Chicago, that's Chicago Auto Club West does, the CACW show at the Drake in Oak Brook. It's like Ferrari F40s, like Porsche 959. That Bugatti. I mean, there was a couple Bugattis. It's friggin' nuts. Like you get bored with the Lamborghinis because you see so many. That's how weird it is.
Okay, so I want to take this time right now. Everybody in the chat, if you have a watch on, please put in what watch are you wearing right now. We're going to do a watch check. So, Mr. Adams, since you're a guest on the show, I'm going to put you on a solo mode. What watch do you have on right now, sir?
Oh, see, I got the Cubs watch on, so I've got our that
Wayfinder Northside.
Wayfinder Northside edition with the map.
Woo! Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I like it. I like it. So I have to hit you with that Hamilton khaki. Ooh. Oh yeah, I had to do that. This the baby right here, boy. That's the baby. Nice. So you know what? I love what you said about your love for watches, but if somebody bought, let's say, a Bell & Ross or Omega, and they had a Wayfinder in your collection, you're happy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely. I want to be part of a collection. I don't expect people to buy one. Now, guaranteed, there's guys who they bought my one watch, and that's like the only watch they have. And like I said, that's because I got the guy who doesn't like watches. that's cool. That's his one watch he puts on all the time. But yeah, I'm good if people buy my watch and then decide they want to move up and start going to different stuff. I mean, I put myself at a nice price point. I think that gets people whets their appetite, and then I try and keep it fresh with the design so they keep coming back. But yeah,
Okay,
get a collection. Get a collection.
Hey, wait a minute. Okay, so listen, Pocket Rocket he got his wayfinder on right now. He got his wayfinder on, bro. Hold on, let me put that on the screen. Hold up, no, not Vic. Vic, I'm surprised Vic don't have a Magnum on right now. But he got his Vic has his New York Rangers. Yeah, he got it. Listen, okay, Cliff got his Aragon Regeneron NE57. Yeah, man. Yeah. So what other watches do you guys look and just say, hey, those watches are cool, those are nice? What other watches like wet your whistle?
So I still like this is the stupidest thing, but I'm into these things, these friggin' these moon swatches.
Oh, this moon swatch!
I haven't bought a watch in a long time. Like after starting the company, my last watch I bought, which is a really weird one. You guys are probably gonna think it's stupid, but it's from Laco. It's called I don't even know the name of it, like an Uberstig. It's one where they take it and they weather it. So they took this. I saw it. I was like, that is the most unique looking watch I've ever seen. Like it looks like a World War II watch that was worn in World War II. So it's like a movie prop. They cut it and they make it look worn. So like that was one that I had bought. I think I love Omega. I think Omega does some awesome stuff. You kidding me? That Snoopy watch.
Yeah.
Their dark sides of the moon, gray side of the moon, those colors I think are incredible. Of course, I mean I like Rolex. Rolex knows what they're doing. It just cracks me up that they can change the color and people are like, look at this new model. It's amazing. It cracks me up. It cracks me up, man. I mean, that's when you're there, right? That's when you're the epitome. Like, I'm going to move the crown from this side to the other side and make it green, and you guys are going to go crazy for it.
You know what's funny? I literally just had a conversation with Dave D, and I said, Rolex is an amazing watch. Rolex gets a lot of people collecting. They strive to have that because it's the one watch that once you've gotten to a certain point financially in your life, you buy Rolex. And it's like, hey, look, I got my Rolex on, I've made it. But I literally went to Moyer's Jewelers, which is here. It's like 30 minutes from my house. I'm looking at the Rolex and I'm looking at the Omega. And I said, dude, if I had an option, if money was let's say I had $20,000 to spend on a watch. I said, well, this Rolex is beautiful. Don't get me wrong. But this Omega though, it just hit me in the heart, and especially the James Bond version. That one right there. Bro, quit playing, man. If I had my choice, if I'm going to spend 10 grand, I'm not going to get a Submariner. Submariner, get out of here. I'm getting this James Craig. I said James Craig. James Bond. James Craig, somebody I know. I don't even know why I'm just thinking about him. Maybe I need to give you a call. But is that watch does it for me, man. So Dave D said he got his Bulova on, a Bulova if you want to be proper. Let's see. So Wiley Hustle, that's my wife. She's in there like, hey, y'all hit that thumbs up because y'all, it's important that you hit the thumbs up because one of the things I wanted people to know is as they get to see Adam, you can go back. Dude, your interviews go back like 3-4 years. People are still reviewing your watches and stuff like that. But I wanted people to see who you are outside of that because, like you said, people buy from people, and you don't seem like a guy that's just like, hey, screw you, buddy, buy my watch, give me your money. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think 2 years, that's standard, right, for warranty. Because this guy, my Hamilton has a 2-year warranty on it. So I think that's industry standard. But
like I said, I want people happy. I want when people buy stuff, I want them happy. Like I actually had a guy who he loved this. He had a seaplane and he builds cabinets. And he called me up. He's like, "Hey, I kind of cracked it on some granite." So I was like, "All right, send it in." I got it downstairs, and it was destroyed. Like shattered, all crystal everywhere, shattered. I was like, maybe I can salvage the movement for parts or something. But I was like, you know what? Here's what it would cost to repair. Here's my number to get you a brand new one, just so you have it back on. And he was like super appreciative, super happy, And I do that for him. I know he's gonna remember that because I remember when
Right.
people do that kind of customer support. So I cover people, man. I want them. I want them happy.
Okay, so last watch question. That bad boy right there. You know it was coming, bro. You know it was coming.
Yeah. No, I'm happy for it.
So I've seen the TikToks. I've seen Random Rob. Which let's go back to this. You were not going to put it out, or you were having problems. What was the deal with this watch? What was going on?
So the guys who make my watch, they're over in Mentor, Ohio. Weekend Watch Company. They do Loom Tech too. Same guy, Chris. So I had designed the CACW, the solar chronograph with the tire tread, and I was like, you know what? I have this funny idea, like to do like an '80s, like the backdrop to the car poster. So I spent a little time on that, more time than I needed to. And I was like, just give me 2 prototype dials of this. I just want to see what it looks like. Because I had shown pictures to people and they're like, oh, that's interesting. Hey, that's a watch. So the feedback in my immediate circle was not super hyped about it. I liked it. But Chris told me when I sent this to him, he was like, dude, this watch is going to crush. He's like, I've never seen anything like this. He was like, I was pulling down, he was making 3D renderings for me. He's like, my wife came in and saw it and said, what is that? That is cool. So I mean, like already there, people were telling me I got to do it, but I was still hesitant because, excuse me, I got to run it like a business, right? I don't want to put out a bunch of stuff and have a bunch of stock. But when I was doing TikToks and I was getting hits from TikToks, I'd show it like, boom, here's a quick version of it. And people were like, what is that? Is that coming live? I was like, maybe. But then Rob sent me a text and he's like, what is this? It's like from one of my TikToks. I was like, oh, it's one of my demos. So him and I start talking and I'm like, let me call you, Rob. So I call him and we spent like maybe 25 minutes talking. He's like, you got to make this. He's like, you have to make this. This watch is too cool to just be, a demo that never happened. So I was like, all right, dude, you sold me. I'm done. And I got on the phone. I basically called Chris. I was like, all right, we're running it. Go for it. And then I talked with Nick over at Strap Habit. I was like, hey, Nick, I like your straps. I actually posted a video with your pink strap on it. I was like, let's come up with an idea for that black and kind of magenta. He came up with that color for me and the teal. So yeah, that was the watch that almost didn't happen. But now that I've got it, I feel like, maybe I shouldn't have limited it to 85 because people are going to be mad that I've got a couple hundred people that are on the wait list for the, alert me when in stock. So once I launch it, it's going to blast out the email to everybody. So all these people are going to get the emails along with everybody who's already at the website waiting to buy it. And I think it's going to go quick. And I got to hold some because I have retailers that I promised 1 or 2 to.
Oh man.
So it's one that I probably should have made more of, but you know what? I'm going to make the 85 and we'll come up with a cooler, not cooler, but a different version later on down the road to help people scratch that itch.
You know what? Well, I guess we have to. I was curious about that because I watched Random Rob, and he said what he said, and I said that's something I have to know. But that gave me Grand Theft Auto vibes, man. When I first saw it, I said this watch is crazy. That watch, dude. They were not. Rob was not. Everybody, whoever texted you, sent you the messages. That watch is fire because we're used to the regular analog watches. We're used to the divers. We're used to the dress watches. And every watch, this is one thing I feel, every watch has its place. Your watches, honestly, out of every watch, and I'm not saying it's just because you're here, but honestly, your watches have this place that I'm like, yo, the one with the tire tread, I love that one. I love the Wayfinder. You know what I'm saying? Like that right there. Like and Tommy, and a bunch of other people love the seaplane, which I think the seaplane is dope. But if I had to run my choice and I would have to get 2, it would have to be the Miami Vice. Well, honestly, bro, because we watch collectors, man. Anybody that's watching my show right now, I guarantee they got more than 20 watches in their collection. I guarantee they got more than 20. Some people that watch my show, you'd be surprised, they got over 900 watches in their collection.
That's a lot of watches.
Imagine, that's what I'm saying. It's a lot of battery changing too. I ain't even gonna call you out because you know who you are with your 900 watches, but I'm gonna leave you alone. But yeah, man, and the crazy thing is, going back to just from the people that I watch from you, all the different reviewers and stuff like that, Barstool, and guys, please go over to Farr Swit's website. It's down in the description. Just go click on it. There's comments, and there's one colorful comment from the Barstool. You guys have to go see what I mean. They love to watch so much. You just have to go see the comment. But overall, what are your, like, you guys have to have like this victory dance, victory song, a chant. So you guys have to have something because this is huge, bro. Like, you're a watch designer, maker, entrepreneur, philanthropist. You're a lot of things, a rapper.
I don't know if my freestyle's so good anymore. I did that one on one of the COVID. We were doing like a virtual show, and so I did a little bit. It was all right. I'm still too rusty, but yeah. To your point, I really appreciate everything you're saying. For me, I think what we've found our spot. Like when we came out with the seaplane, we were subtle. We were very subtle. We had some ideas. It was basically the watch for watch nerds. All the specs, check all the boxes, make it a little unique. And I think from the Wayfinder on, we've hit it. Like we're gonna be unique. And like I'm telling you, I want almost like Swatch. Swatch, like you can own 40 swatches, right? And you'll still go back to the store and buy one because, or G-Shocks. You know what I mean? Like you're like, damn, that one looks awesome. I got a bunch of them, but that's what I want to do. I want to have people to have fun with my stuff. I want them to come back. And I use the word cool, which is a hard one to do. Like I want to have her stuff just be like, oh, that is cool. Like that is cool, you know, and that's hard to hit. And I won't always hit it, you know, but I think we've got a couple good winners, and I want to keep that momentum going.
I don't think, bro. I know your watches are on point from what I've seen, and again, I actually have 8 watches, and I'm not using it. So I've seen somebody that talking about they had 8 watches. My wife said she had 8 watches, and I think there's just 8 watches on her nightstand right now. The other, I can pull up at least 17 right here, but I'm not gonna pull up watches up. Dave D said he had. I have a total of 8 watches. Thank God. Stop. He's the source. I'm gonna tell you something. Maybe one day you'll get to. Oh no, you did meet Dave D. I wish he'd have had his watch box there with him when he met you out in Washington, because this dude collection is nuts. You have, like, we call him the source. Like, he is the source of. If you want your next watch idea, hit up Dave D. If you don't have his number, like Dave D is it.
Give me his stuff after.
Okay, yeah. Now listen, that dude, man. Whoo, when I say he's the truth, let me see. And Vic says, Dave, you're missing some zeros. Yes, amen to that, bro. I don't know what Dave D talking about 8 watches. Like when Arnie says, I'll be back. I'll be getting another. Tommy, so you have sales, and that's the one thing that I want people, like, because your watches look fun. You know, the traditional watch roll that people do, your stuff is trendy. You guys have to be proud of yourselves, man. One, I do appreciate you coming on the channel. But before we go, is there anything else that you want the public to know about you? You play ball? Are you a coach? You do, like,
I do soccer. I just got done with a soccer game today. So yeah, I still play men's league soccer. Coached my kids. Trying to get anything. You hit all the stuff, man.
I mean, bro, like,
I think you've got it all.
You have a very interesting life, man. Family man, and I, you know what I'm saying? Like, I could tell yesterday when I talked to you on the phone, I said you were engaged with your family. I said that's sweet. I love those type of touches. Oh, I know. Next week. Yes,
forgot all about this.
Next week. So, you have a show coming up with like 35 other watch creators. So Micro Brand, what is it called? Micro Lux?
Micro Lux, yeah. If you guys haven't gone to this, it's pretty cool. It's over at 900 North Michigan. It's like on the second floor, and there's like it's a huge room, and he actually has like a class. I think you can build watches there. But I mean, like Parallel is gonna be there. These guys Apt are gonna be there with a bunch of G-Shocks. I'm trying to think of all the brands. I mean, if you go to the site, there's a ton of stuff. Tosin Watch Company is gonna be there.
Yeah.
Those guys have cool stuff. If you guys haven't gone to like that District Time, which was in DC, or a micro brand show, it's similar to something like Worn and Wound, but a little bit less intense, and you get more time with the actual brand owners. It's cool. I love it. These shows are awesome. They're exhausting, but they like, I love talking to people. Like if you show up, I give me 5-10 minutes to chat with you. It's awesome. It's fun.
Bro, I already got my tickets.
All right.
I already got my tickets, so I will see you next week. I talked to my mom. I said, hey, Mom, I'm coming to a watch show. You know, like, you want to come up there with me? I don't want to buy no watches. I said, Mom, I'm telling you, it's going to be a lot. You know, I like to mess with my mother. She's very colorful. So, like, she got some extreme language. But, yeah, man, so I will get a chance, and I'm going to take as many pictures because I love watches, man. I mean, I just lose it. So, now, let me ask you this, because you've been to multiple are they going to have any food vendors there, any hot dogs or whatever, like, you know, some Chicago stuff?
Usually they got booze. They usually have booze, which is
good enough.
Yeah. I think like Giordano's is right around there somewhere. Giordano's or Uno.
It's straight down. Yeah, it's straight up. It's right up the road. I know exactly where it is, towards the lakefront. So yeah, Giordano. But you know, you got to order that like 40 minutes. Yeah.
Portillo's. So I love deep dish. I love Portillo's style Chicago food. I love that stuff. The best, man. You can't eat it every day, but it's good.
You can't. So what I'm hearing is we gonna have a meal. We're gonna break bread after everything is done and over with, because I'm pretty sure you're gonna be exhausted from talking.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, most definitely get to do that. So I think this is a good place to end, man. We've been in there for an hour. We had a great amount of people in here. Vic, Dave, Cliff, my wife, of course.
That's the sport.
Tommy, big time, another content creator. We've had a number of people come in, and DK, thank you for being behind the scenes for me, man. I appreciate you. But Adam, I want to say this because your team's not here with you. Hold on, excuse me. My equipment is acting up again. So, all right, there we go. So I want you to give your team a message from me, because we see your face, but let them know that we do appreciate their ideas, what they do, the fact that you guys are creating watches, man. You guys are a part of history. You guys have made history. And I will say this, I can't wait to see this new GMT that you got coming out. You guys, let me show you the watch that's coming up, guys. So this is the latest watch from Farr Swit that will be available, and maybe not available. You may miss out. You may have to wait until the next one.
So my idea is, so I'm launching it online Friday. I'm gonna hold back some, and I'll bring some. I'm not gonna have any at the show, but I will, if people want to come up and are like really want it, I'm gonna hold some for people who come to the show. So I feel bad if people show up at the show wanting to see this watch, and I'm like, oh, it's sold out online. I just sold it out yesterday. No, I'm gonna I'll keep a handful available. So
okay, hey, well, you guys have heard it. Any other questions or anything else, man? Please follow my man on TikTok. He is on Instagram. He's even on YouTube, and he gives you advice. I know you got a lot of videos. I'm telling you, go check it out. This is a good place for any content creator. Go check out some of the tidbits of wisdom that he gives out. Some great stuff, man. It'll probably help you out in your career, whatever it is that you're trying to do. And of course, get a watch.
That's it. You
know what I'm saying? So with that being said, thank you again, sir, for being on. Family, y'all already know what it is. Until the next lightning strike, y'all be blessed.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, everyone.